You talked about 9/11, then you said it has, or it's related to Islam. I'm really interested to know, why do you think it's related to Islam?
Well, because the Quran in Surah 9, verse 29, says, slay the idolaters wherever you find them.
Okay.
And Quran in Surah 8:40 says, strike the heads off the infidels.
Okay.
So there are places in the Quran which have, for a small sect of Muslims over many years, have caused them to try and jihad against unbelievers.
Well, can I reply? Is that
sure,
okay?
Oh, please,
okay.
Yeah.
So,
actually
the surah that, or actually the verse that you quoted from, actually from surah called 𝗦𝗢𝗏. And I think that you don't know Arabic, but actually the same, actually, the surah actually is actually about the Meccans.
The what?
The Meccans, people in Mecca.
Okay.
Okay? And actually when the Prophet actually conquered actually the Mecca, and he actually sort of put like like a pardon for all people in there. And then after that, because there were a lot of, what's it called? Idols.
Yes, in Mecca.
Around the Kaaba.
Yes.
So they were given 4 months in order to take everything they have and go out of the sanctuary or the city of Mecca. So actually it's related actually to that certain time. And before the Prophet actually died, he was in debt to a Jew in Medina, actually, the city that he was in. So it's not actually related to that at all. Otherwise, the Prophet would have killed the Jew who was like his neighbor in there. So this is what I'm trying to say. Well, sorry, my question is not related to my.
No, that's good, Abdullah. I'm glad if that is the proper interpretation. The problem is, for the last 1,400 years, a significant sect of Islam has not interpreted it that way.
But it's the same as like Crusaders interpreted some of the Bible, and they've killed a lot of people in Jerusalem. So I think it's more of politics than actually religion. I remember a story one guy told me, like when Ottomans actually set a siege in I think it was Venice. Some Muslims actually fought the Turks, and they actually they repelled them from the city. So it's more to do with politics than with Islam or religions, and that's what I'm trying, because we actually impose ourselves on texts, and we think that it's the right thing.
Well,
so,
I'm glad you interpreted that way. All I'm saying is there have been many Muslims over the past 1,400 years who have interpreted not only Surah 8, but Surah 9 in such a way as to include all non-Muslims. And as you know now, there's not equality in most Muslim countries. You're either going to be a Muslim.
Don't you think that's more related to politics than to religion?
Well, but it grows.
Because we have actually all shades in. We have Malaysia. We have other countries. So in Malaysia, actually, they have women as presidents, and you have actually in Indonesia as well. So it has nothing to do with religion than it does with politics.
Well, but their religion informs their politics. I mean, why is it that every single Muslim country with a majority of Muslims does not have freedom of religion?
Well, you know, it's more to do. Well, this is more to do actually with the politics, and why? Because who will actually support these kind of tyrannies? Tell me now.
Well, why are there no churches in Saudi Arabia?
Well, Saudi Arabia actually, because there is a certain. It's like, for example, like what's that place? It's like Rome for Muslims. It's more of a sanctuary area.
Mecca is, but I've been to Riyadh. I've been to Dhahran.
Because there is a certain narrative for that, a certain hadith.
I know.
But as for Egypt, because there were Christians there, so they are there, and they've actually thrived along with Muslims, and there were not actually any kind of coercion or any kind of forcing to Christian actually to be Muslims. Actually, there are now about 30 million Christians in Egypt.
They have to pay the tax, though. Coptic Christians are continually persecuted in Egypt.
Not at all. Not at all. I believe that you've
actually,
never been to... sorry.
Actually, the new president, thankfully, helped build a brand new Coptic church. So maybe things are going in a more tolerant way in Egypt now. But the problem is, Abdullah, I wish your interpretation was held by all Muslims. The problem is it's not. When it comes to Christianity, there's no verse in the Bible from the New Testament where Jesus would condone the Crusades. But there are verses...
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, actually.
There are verses, I know, in the Quran, though, that people can use and have used for jihad. But I wish your view took over.
Why are there Coptic people still live in Egypt, then?
Well, that's their homeland. They're still persecuted. I mean, look what's going on.
No, they're not persecuted. They were persecuted by Romans when they were ruling them.
Well, yeah, Romans may have done that too, but...
that's what I'm trying to... Sorry. It's not related to the... your lecture was really informative, and it's really, it was really instructive for me.
Let me ask you one question, though, before you go.
Okay.
If Christianity were true, would you become a Christian?
If it was true, of course, I'll be Christian.
Okay, if you give me your contact info, I will mail you a book, if you'll read it.
Okay, I'll give you.
Please, at the table back there, just leave it, and I will mail you a book. I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate this dialogue, and I'm praying that your view of Islam takes over.